Hello, dear students. In this part of the video, I'm going to be discussing about the career planning flow and the stages. Now, if you look at this particular slide, um, there are three things that you are able to see. One is you see a path that's going to connect the career planning to the career goals. The second part you look at, uh, if you can recollect, it is Maslow's hierarchy model, which talks about how needs determine the fulfillment of the various efforts that we put into fulfilling those needs. And at the bottom you see an age progression, and there are career stages. Now what this slide basically means is, if you look at from the bottom part of the slide, when we talk about the age, it talks about when we are in the beginning part of a career, when we are completing graduation from school and college, and then we are slowly looking for an employment. We are in that age group of 20 to 25, not really sure of what we would want to take up, whether what job would be most suitable. At that point of time, the career doesn't make a very big sense, but getting a job, the need to be independent, the need to be able to earn one's own salary or income and then be able to take care of our needs is paramount in the minds of anyone. We just are very desperate sometimes to just get a job, and at that point is where candidates keep exploring. They keep shifting from one job to another, maybe one organization to another, until they find a particular job that where they reconcile to the fact that, well, this is the kind of job that I want to do, and this is what I want to really establish and stabilize myself in the career. So that takes about 20 from the age of 20 to 25 is when we are in that state of exploration. And then 25 to 30 is we kind of settle down. At that point of time, after shifting to several jobs and experimenting and trying out different kinds of jobs and careers, we kind of establish ourselves and we settle down within that age group. And 25 to 30, and from 30 to 45 is where we are looking at growing the career. That's when we get promotions, we start moving ahead in our jobs and career, we start upskilling, reskilling, we do higher education, and we do a lot of things to ensure that we are creating a certain status for ourselves, creating a certain name and image for ourselves, both within the organization as well as in the society. And 45 to 55 is where we reach the peak of our career. That's when we are looking for leadership positions, or we want to become mentors, we want to contribute, we want to do something really good. And 55 to 65 is where we get into that state of self actualization, where we slowly introspect and then start looking for what we want to do. And as we go through the career stages of exploration, establishment, advancement, maintenance, and retirement, now all of these also coincides with the kind of needs, with the changing needs in our lives. In the beginning, we're looking at safety, security, and trying to be independent, physiological. So we just are looking for an income, and very often we are still dependent because we are still staying with our parents. From 25 to 30 is where you need to become independent. You need to come out of the care and dependency of your parents and then need to establish yourself. And that's where safety, security, and those kind of needs start coming in. That's when we start making investment in a house, or trying to save up and have a bank balance process, or maybe buy a car, and trying to really become independent and mobile. 30 to 45 is where we want to establish a name, image, status. We want to grow, where very often we are identified by the job and the career that we are into. 45 to 55 is about self-esteem and self-actualization and feeling really nice and good and uh, great about where we are at this point of time. And then 65 to 55 to 65 is where we are into the state of self-actualization. So we are in that state of self-actualization, where we are trying to see how we can uh, really feel happy with our lives. The whole purpose of what we have done so far in our job and our career should find some sort of a fulfillment. Right. So next we will look at employee life cycle. For an organization, it's very important that from the time an employee enters the organization till the time he leaves or he exits, we call that as the employee life cycle. So at different phases of the employee life cycle, the organization and the HR team has a lot of role to play. You know that they have to be very instrumental in trying to ensure that the employee is well taken care of. So we have six stages in the employee life cycle. We begin with attraction, where the organization is making efforts to recruit the right candidates so that the right candidates are able to apply for the job in the organization. So that's where the organization brands itself and creates a positive perception in society and have more employees, more candidates getting attracted towards the organization. And then we go through the recruitment process and then through the onboarding process, through orientation, through induction. We bring in the employee, give him the right orientation, give him the right sort of training. And then once the employee is in the job, additional efforts are taken to train and develop the candidate. And then finally, we make efforts to retain good candidates, those who are contributing, those who are productive, to make sure that they don't get poached or do not leave the organization. And then in the employee life cycle, as with almost everything has to come to an end. So we have employee separation. Separation could be in the form of a dismissal, could be in the form of retrenchment, can be in the form of a layoff, or can be in the form of a voluntary resignation where, or superannuation where an employee superannuates from service and leaves the job. So in all of these cases, it's very important that the organization and the HR team make tremendous efforts to ensure that the employee is happy, productive, satisfied, and continues to contribute to the organization. So, what are the career anchors? Now, this is a very interesting slide because as candidates or as students who are interested to find a job, you want to know in which particular line of job or in which particular line of career will you be really happy about. So this is an introspection. This is a awareness or a self-assessment that you need to do about yourself. Find out what sort of careers will help you. What sort of, where is your competency? Where is your strength? Right. So what are you looking for in a job? Right. So these are what are called career anchors. If you're very sound with technology, very sound with working with gadgets and so on, you're technically sound. So you need to look for a technical job. If you're very good in administration, if you're very good in people management, planning, organizing, and managing things, then you have the managerial competence, and that's where you can take up the role of a manager. Third, if you're looking at a very stable and a secure kind of a job, you don't want any sort of hassle of working in a very dynamic environment where job security is always a threat. If you're looking for a job secure position, look for a job that gives you stability and security. Fourthly, if you're looking for a job that gives you a lot of challenges your potential, tries to bring out the best in you, or it's a very creative kind of a job. So look for jobs that involve a lot of creativity and challenge. Look for jobs that give you freedom and autonomy, and that's where many individuals who don't want to work with other organizations want to be independent, right? So they become entrepreneurs. Or if you are dedicated to a cause, there is a cause or you want to work for some social good or social cause, you can join an NGO. That's where dedication to a cause comes in. And then there are lifestyle jobs as well. If you're pretty comfortable in life and you're wealthy and there is not much that is riding on you, then you can take up a job that matches your lifestyle, suits your lifestyle. So what you're doing as a hobby and interest is also something that can parallelly help you to get a job, and that can become your job or your career. Because there's not much of a difference between what you are doing ordinarily in life and also what you are doing as a job. So why does a career plan fail? Now, that's an important aspect that we need to be thinking about. Why does a career plan fail? Career plans fail mostly because our efforts are insincere. When we don't put the right efforts and we don't, uh, when we are not very sincere and serious in what we are doing, we're taking things for granted. Secondly, looking for immediate benefits. If you're looking for money or if you're looking for short-term incentives and you don't have a long-term plan and perspective as to why you're taking up a job or a career, then that's where sometimes careers can fail. Because the job that is there today may not be there tomorrow. And if you haven't planned enough, and there is no consistent manner in which you moved in your job and your career, then you don't have, then your future prospects are nil. Thirdly, lack of interaction with hired agencies. When you do not involve yourself or engage in conversation with a mentor or with an organization or with an assessment center to know more about what's going to happen, what is going to be the change that is going to emerge, and what sort of job opportunities and career opportunities that will emerge. If you don't look into all of this, that's where sometimes we might be going the wrong track. And there is no system to evaluate if you are unable to know the system or if you are not aware or if you've not taken up those assessment centers or the services of an assessment center, or you haven't done sort of a introspection or a self-assessment, you don't know where you stand, right? So all of that can also be a obstacle. And lastly, it could be a bureaucratic model of the organization, so very hierarchy oriented, and then if the organization gives a lot of importance to only seniority and does not consider merit, and then if it's only when your turn comes you take up, so that's where sometimes um, careers can also fail, and within the organization, and employees may look for maybe other areas where they could take up job opportunities. So, what is a career path? Career path are nothing but the advancement in your occupation, the series of jobs that you take in an organization, and how you grow up the organization ladder is what is called as a career path, right? Another terminology that is of interest is career plateau, right? Career plateau is a situation in which, for either organizational or personal reason, the probability of moving up the career is low, where you get stuck or you get stagnated. Stagnated is a word that we very often use. There don't seem you don't see any prospect of moving ahead. You don't see a lot of chances for you to grow. And that is a career plateau where you feel that you're suspended and you're hanging on. There is now, I mean, the future looks very bleak, right? Promotion is what is that path that will take you and help you to grow in your career. So when you are able to get opportunities to move ahead in your career, when you are getting a vertical movement, when you are able to take up a higher level position in the organization, which is you get a chance or an opportunity to do your boss's job. But that is where you can get into promotion. Promotion can be of much help. Transfer is another opportunity wherein individuals, wherever there is an opportunity to move from one position to another position, within from one department to another department, or maybe from one branch to another branch, or from one office to another office, transfers are also another good possibility of going ahead in career. So these are certain aspects that we need to look at. And finally, we're going to look at the two-way career path. The career development process, as you see within the inner circle, talks about individual information and planning, organization information and planning, job acquisition and movement, and development and growth, which is within the organization. We need to create a career development process and a framework. Right from the time an employee comes into the organization, and as if when an employee is contributing, the performance appraisals needs to be assessed, and then the right persons will have to be given the right opportunities and train them, hone them, and then be able to prepare a career path so that you are able to identify right and potential candidates, and then be able to give them a career plan as to how they could move forward, how they could move ahead, and how they could take up those positions. And that's where the organization has to make some effort to see how they can get the right candidates working for them. And then the right candidates and the employees who are working the organization must also make some efforts to see how they can contribute to the organization in the long run. So it's kind of a win-win kind of a situation where both employee and employer, the organization and the employee, both will have to actively play a very